like 2 o'clock yesterday.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Good Morning Xbox. Yes, returning is the one and only host with the most. Just boom, boom, kaboom is back in the room. It's Newf Nukem here. Welcome, everybody. Let's introduce the panel, who basically needs no introduction, but let's start off with the way they appear on my screen. Welcome in this morning, the fabulous one with the colorful hair. It is Coolcat Terri. How are you?
Good morning, everybody. I hope you guys are excited. We are back over here on Newf's channel. Hope you guys are excited, and got some great topics again.
And relinquishing his hosting duties for at least the time being is Mr. Axel 1324. It's looking quite dapper. It's what the hell is that in front of you? No, never mind. It's just the way it looks on my screen. It's like there's this thing in behind you, and then the microphone. It just looked like you had this big tower there. Yes, the way it appears on screen, it blends in. But Axel 1324 is here and ready to roll. How are you, Axel?
Hey, good morning. Oh man, I am so looking forward to just being a panel member here. Not having to drive. I'm going to be a panel princess. Just enjoy the show. Not worry about clicking this, clicking that, and just roll with the punches now.
Absolutely. Well, it's good to have you all back. Speaking of people coming back, it looks like he's departed the prison cell and has moved up in the world, although he is sporting the bright orange this morning. It is the mortar dropper, the showstopper, Mr. Toodle Shaddai. What's up?
Hey, good morning and welcome back, Newf. Welcome back, everybody. I hope everybody had a great weekend, knowing that time changes. So I have to I have to adjust to it.
It's kind of weird because you guys are saying your time changed, but nothing changed on my end. At least I don't think it did. Well, I guess it would have changed. Yeah, I guess the
Probably because it's raining over here. That's also, it's kind of raining here.
Yeah, we went back an hour last night at 2 o'clock.
Yeah.
I
And
guess
were
it did.
pew
That just
pew.
automatically goes back. And let's catch up with the man who is, the sniper extraordinaire, the COD ass kicker himself. I had a great game last night with us, Mr. Scrub Nurse. Between you and Titan, you pretty much ran the gauntlet most of the night. How are you, man?
Yeah, doing pretty good. Community game night was awesome. Yeah, me and Titan are gonna have some words. He's fun when he's on your team, and he gets on your dang nerves when he's not. But last night was good. Great to be back. Great to have Newf back. We're gonna talk some games. We're gonna have some fun. Good to see everybody back in the chat. So please like and share out to let everybody know where we're at this morning. So let's get started.
Absolutely. And speaking of getting started, or perhaps even winding down, shout out to Cerebral Paul, who's been a real trooper doing the 25-hour live stream over on his Twitch channel. Go check him out if you still haven't. There is still time, I do believe, to donate. And I do believe you can also donate after the fact. So make sure you go say hi to Paul. He should be stopping by here momentarily to at least say hello and check in with everybody. So we hope that he's still doing well. I got a feeling he's going to be tired and grumpy when he gets here. But hey, what else is new, right? So
His normal self.
his normal self. But
Yeah.
no, there he is. He's in the chat. Look at that. Yo! There you go. Good to see you, Paul. Hope you're doing well, brother. I guess you're just about ready to pack it in and get some shut-eye. I'm sure you're pretty tired. But I hope you're still doing well. And like I said, I checked in last night with Paul just shortly after the Modern Warfare thing. I think he was closing in at $900 at that point. So not a bad little haul. But anyway, like I said, he's doing some great stuff, giving out some prizes. So again, good stuff right there. All right, let's catch up with the chat real quick, as we normally always do. We got to give a big shout out to some amazing people who it's really nice to see coming back to support, as always. Donkey Dog 420. By the way, Axel, you guys, that was hilarious the other night. It took me a second to catch on what you were doing, but you were all switching over duty, so to speak. So if you guys didn't catch the Iconic Video Games podcast for Friday, you should go back and give it a shot, a replay, because Axel was dressed up as Doggy Dog. Princess Zelda was dressed up as
As me.
as you. Yes, it was you. And yes, and Doggy Dog then was dressed up as Princess Zelda. It was quite funny. It was a really good stuff right there. So go check it out, Iconic Video Games Podcast. You can catch it on Access Channel with the replay. So go do that. We got your Wicked Hot in the building this morning. Good to see Hot. He was part of Community Game Night last night, and man, it was a good time. Him and Wild Bates were there. We got Nick's in the house this morning. What's going on? We got Mizzle T Shizzle. What's happening? We got the one and only Draven Arrow, who's always popping by. We got Casket Repair in the building this morning. Good to see you, Casket. And we got the one and only, our good friend of the show, Mr. Dreadpool, is hanging out with us as well. Good to see you. And we got Punkadish in the building. What's going on, Punkadish? Good to see you, my friend. It's been a while. Too bad you didn't get to make it out for Call of Duty. And there we have it. I think we're basically caught up at this point in time. If I missed anybody, I do apologize, and I'll get to you shortly. And Doggy Dog drops the first super chat of the morning. I'm going to pull it up on screen, and one of you fabulous people can have the duties of reading it out.
All right, Doggy Dog, my brother here says, "Good morning, everyone. Newf is back." That's right, and we all love that he's back.
And I know Doggy Dog's had the avatar for a couple of weeks or maybe even a couple of months now, but I really love it. Another fabulous job done by the one and only graphic god, XboxGamerPicks.com. Look at that. I love that avatar. It's great. It's fun, just like Doggy Dog is. We got Lost Boomer in the chat, and we got Jacob Novik, the God of War. What is going on, Jacob? Yes, God of War coming out in just a couple of days. I've got my pre-order. Who else here on the panel has their pre-order in for God of War, and are you excited for it? I know it's a PlayStation topic, but I mean, it's too hard to ignore. It's getting great reviews, and it looks fabulous. Who's got one? Anybody?
I don't have my pre-order yet because I'm still looking for a PS5. I want to play it on PS5. I know I can get it on PS4, but I want it on the PS5.
Yeah,
Nice.
I will probably break down and get it for my PS4 since I don't have a 5 yet. But eventually, I do want to have it set up on a 5 and play it and have a good time. But it will get bought, but didn't do the pre-order.
Yeah, I wanted to get it too, but I had a PS5, but my friend wanted it, so I sold it to him. So I'm like, okay, fine.
Yeah, I only wish I had Wednesday off this week. I'm off on Monday, but yeah, I do have mine pre-ordered, and I'll be picking it up, I guess, early Wednesday morning since my GameStop is not doing the midnight launch, unlike some other stores. So, boo!
It's going to be good. It's going to be good.
But that's interesting, though, because I asked them why they weren't doing it for such a massive title, not to mention Sonic Frontiers also launches on Tuesday night.
Yeah.
Obviously, as God of War is not till Wednesday per se, but they would do it early that night. Yeah, and he said, I guess apparently their store hadn't done enough pre-orders up front to basically warrant opening and keeping the store open, which is totally acceptable. But I don't know, man, it's a sign of the times, or just people walking into stores, a thing of the dodo bird, you know? So crazy stuff.
80% of all sales are digital now.
Yeah, digital killed the midnight release for sure.
Definitely, yeah. You don't see too many anymore now. They had a small one for Call of Duty, and the line was massively shorter than it had been in the past. Here, let's bring up Cerebral Paul. He's got a link on the screen, just so you know. He's in the chat right now. 848 right now, as a matter of fact. He'd like to hit 900. So, guys, if you haven't had a chance, at least share it out. You know, even if you can't donate, because the more eyes on the prize, the better. Greatly appreciate it. Supporting a great community member, but most importantly, supporting kids, I do believe, in the Texas Children's Hospital through Extra Life, which is always what it does. So make sure you get over there and do that. We got Lost Boomer not paying $70 for any game. You know, man, I don't know, Boomer. I got to disagree with you there, bro, just because I think if a game is worth it, they're worth it. Bottom line. You know, they might not be worth 70 to everybody, but $70 games aren't exactly unheard of. Most of us were paying $70 for Sega Genesis and N64 games back in the day, believe it or not. So I don't know why the gripe is on paying an extra $10 or whatever for the new games. I mean, everybody has their disagreements on that, but you know, the cost of games is skyrocketing, and inflation hasn't been very nice to anybody. So, you know, it is what it is. I mean, I totally get it. $70 for The Last of Us Part 1, which essentially now is had 3 versions of the freaking game since the PS3. I definitely can get that. I think that's a little astronomical for a game that's been remade.
That one
but
should only be $40. I hate to
I
break it.
100% agree. I don't mind them going back to the well so much, but charging you full price for a game that most of us have already played, I think is taking advantage of the goodwill of gamers. And a lot of people still went out and bought it, which, almost sends the wrong message, because it basically tells these publishers they can do what they want and get away with it, and people will just still buy it. So what's next? We wrap some shit in the bow, and people still pay $70?
I know.
Basically.
It's not far from the truth. I mean, I bought
Yeah.
really expensive stuff.
A lot of people complaining about spending $70 or whatever on Gotham Knights, but at least in all defense, I mean, that game is at least new. It's got new characters and all that stuff. So.
And I pay $150 for the collector's edition of Eclectel Requiem. So.
Yeah, like Nick says, he sums it up pretty well. Right? Yeah, so... Caper Grant is in the building. Speaking of Caper, great guy, and it was a phenomenal time getting to play with him and Cyber Buns last night. That sounded wrong, didn't it? But that's his wife, by the way. They came out last night for community game night and had an absolute blast. Really good. Like, I love that. You get the and it was really good because for a lot of us playing Modern Warfare 2 last night was the first time a lot of us had played like a private match. So a lot of new levels, new experiences for a lot of us while we were playing. Good stuff. We got my good friend, one of my best friends, as a matter of fact, Seamus Kelly's in the chat this morning. Good morning, Seamus. Hope you're doing well, brother, and I hope that you were enjoying that brand new Xbox Series S. Yes, good stuff right there. Let's get right into it, guys, shall we? Let's start it with this. Sorry if I'm talking a little bit much this morning. I guess it's the old podcast rust, I guess you could say, but we're ready to roll. First topic, Square Enix closes down Eidos Montreal, Eidos Montreal. Am I pronouncing that right? Eidos?
I was right at Eidos.
Eidos.
Yeah.
Eidos Montreal closing them down. Yeah, just shortly, several weeks, I guess, after purchasing them, they changed their name to Anoma. And there was some articles out to say that they were basically shutting them down for whatever reason. Is it a sign of the times? What is going on? Is it just because of some lackluster, I guess, sales numbers? I mean, we all know their last game that they put out, I do believe, was Guardians of the Galaxy, and while it may not have hit its sales targets, it was certainly getting a much better response from a review perspective than its predecessor, The Avengers, which was made... who made The Avengers one? That was Crystal Dynamics, right?
Crystal Dynamics, yeah.
But they're both under the same banner. They're both under Square Enix, right? So,
right.
Correct.
So yeah, how do you guys feel about that? And then there's also word that some of the developer team from that studio have gone over to help out with Fable, being made by Playground over at the Xbox camp. So I'll let anybody jump in here, whoever wants to fidget on this one.
Okay, yeah.
Go ahead, Axel.
Yeah, Eidos Montreal, they Shadow the Tomb Raider. You know me, I like that one. It's right up there with Rise of the Tomb Raider. I don't think it's any worse. I don't think it's any better. I think it's like they're just so close. So they can make a really good game. The fact that they shut down a Tomb Raider experience studio is surprising because that's one of their bigger IPs that they got in the 300 million, I believe it was, or 200 million.
300, yeah.
300 million deal from Square. The fact that they're working on Fable or helping with Fable, that's fantastic because, they can make some really good lush environments, some really good action scenes, and some really good puzzles. So that's fantastic as well, too. But it does suck that people buy these studios just to shut them down. And that's, in my opinion, why'd you buy them if you're just going to close them, if you're just going to mismanage them? And I get it. Embracer Group is an investment firm. They're not really a company, if you will. They're more akin to Tencent, except they right out own the studios instead of portions of it.
Right.
But that's kind of what sucks about being bought out by an investment group is that that they're only looking at the dollars. And at the end of the day, the dollars is all that matters, and they just thought that 2 out of the 4 studios weren't worth the money, the return on investment for their money. So they shut them down. Hopefully, they offered to transfer some people. Hopefully, they offered to get some people to work from home because I didn't see any of the real personal backlash on Twitter from former employees
Mm-hmm.
of the studio. So maybe they got really good packages when they left or whatever. So at least Embracer Group is doing that because there wasn't this massive
They got
media
some
storm
shut up
about
money,
it.
is what you're saying.
Yeah, hey, I'll shut up if you pay me enough money, right?
Leave quietly. We will hand you over a bigger check.
Mm-hmm. And it's so funny you said that because my company just literally did that too to somebody. Oh my gosh, it sounds a lot more nefarious when you say it than the corporate ways that they said it. But it's funny. Um, yeah, so hopefully Eidos Montreal, those developers find work somewhere. And hey, if they work over at Microsoft, move over. Hey, why not? I'd love to work on Fable.
So let me ask you this, Axel. If Guardians of the Galaxy had to come out and been a runaway hit, I mean, I think for all intents and purposes, it did well, but I still believe, and considering how quickly I saw the price of that game drop, it makes me believe that it also, too, it underperformed, at least from an expected, sales agenda kind of thing. So do you think if that game had to come out and kind of blown the doors off, that perhaps this would be a little bit different?
Guardians of the Galaxy was a runaway hit with those who played it and word of mouth because I don't remember seeing it advertised. This is back when they were part of Square, and the
Mm-hmm.
thing about Square is they very, very, very seldomly advertise their Western divisions. How do you expect to have success when your advertisement budget is
Right.
non-existent?
Mm-hmm.
From what I understand, just based on the language that was shared in some of the analyst talk that I watched, it's not that they lost money on Guardians of the Galaxy; they just didn't make the money they expected from it.
Right.
Because Guardians of the Galaxy is an IP; they got to pay for that IP use,
Yeah.
and they also have to pay recurring income to that IP use. So
Mm-hmm.
maybe they decided to get rid of it. Maybe they didn't want it to be a hit. Who knows?
Yeah. I think it would have done Guardians a lot better if it had have launched alongside or closer to a Guardians of the Galaxy movie. I think that was, it doesn't have to be about the movie, but at least launching next to it really, really helps. So,
Yeah,
but
or
they didn't have
launching
that
right
go.
next
And
to
then
an
I,
announcement
you
until
know,
the movie comes out. Play this.
do you think that perhaps a lot of people were reluctant to drop money on Guardians of the Galaxy after the Avengers sort of came out as a bit of a
Yep.
I mean, I know
Hmm.
Shaddai has a lot of love for that game, and I don't think the game is necessarily bad. I think they definitely handled it the wrong way, but you think that had a lot to do with it? People were just kind of like, I'll kind of wait
Yes.
and see.
Yep.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. Because that's why I didn't buy it day one, and why I didn't pre-order it was because I didn't trust it. Avengers looked good, advertised good, um, all
Mm-hmm.
that good stuff, and here comes one that looks essentially just like it, just a little different. And if
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't for word of mouth again of the people who did play it, I would never have bought it. I got a Guardians last year for Christmas.
Mm.
When you talk about price drops, you're going from $60 down to $40 down to a Black Friday $25 sale. That's something. And
It sure
what in a
is.
matter of 2 months?
Yeah. Let's bring in Scrub Nurse on the whole
Mhm.
ordeal. Scrub, what is your takeaway from all of this?
Well, looking at it when Embracer Group first purchased everything and they got Square Enix, Montreal, and all this, they took those companies and they basically just brought it all together, put it in a package, rebranded it, and renamed it as Anomo. And Anomo is known for basically doing mobile games. So what they did was they took the Eidos popular game titles and turned them into mobile games. They did Hitman like that. They had a Laura Croft game, I believe, and there's a couple other, but anyway, they turned them all to mobile device games, and then they were doing some more of these things, and they even said it themselves that they're moving away from the mobile area and kind of pushing away from that. So that's the the reason why they shut down the studios. As far as what you see, maybe in like something like a Game Informer or some of these other publishers come talking about the things, which I can understand. If you are a like Embracer, they don't really do much as far as create. They take what you have, they repackage it, or they just use it for publishing whatever anybody has. So if they don't see the money that they think they need or they want out of the mobile area, I could see them moving away from it. What I think is very interesting is them coming from that and then coming on to Fable. Um, has been out. They've been working on it for a couple of years now. It makes me very interested to see how big this game is if they are adding on a whole nother studio of people. I don't know the exact number that we're at Square Enix Montreal, but I would love to see what's going on when we're going to see something for Fable for to add all of them to help with it. I either want to know, is there a problem, but I'm leaning more on the excitement of how big this game is. What are they going to show us? What's going on with this? One of the few games that I'll play open world RPGs is Fable. That's one of them, and it doesn't have that many guns in it either. So I'm good to go. But to see that, and yeah, I'm really excited to see where it goes.
Well said. Let's jump in and get Shaddai, and then we'll finish up with Terry's thoughts on this. Shaddai, are you still with us?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here.
All right, brother. What's your takeaway from the Square Eidos closure of, the Square Enix just closure of Eidos Montreal? How do you see all this?
Okay.
Is it a benefit? I guess is it a benefit for the team over at Fable with Playground? Some of that expertise coming over to help out. Those guys definitely know how to do third-person adventure for sure.
The move that Embracer did with Idols and shutting down is pretty much to save money. Sometimes you have to close studios to save money. On the other hand, you can use the manpower and spread it to certain areas to work on project to speed up the process. Something that we're seeing pretty much right now with Fable. In this case, we have Eidos assisting Playground Games with their upcoming game Fable. As we all know, Eidos does have experience on that genre with Deus Ex series. This collaboration will help Playground Games introduce to the genre since Playground only specializes with the racing genre. Fable seems to be massive with all that talent that Playgrounds have. Now with the addition of Eidos, we expect for the game to be phenomenal when releases. That's what I don't know about you, but that's what I think with all this, other than saving money, since now they're acting like some type of independent studio. You're gonna get support, but you got to support yourself for this. So it's kind of weird the way it's set up with when you're being purchased with Embrace. It's kind of weird the way they do that.
Now I'm gonna go to Terry here, but Terry, I heard a wild rumor. Okay, on this one, I heard a wild rumor that someone said, and you never know. We know that Crystal Dynamics is helping out with what is it?
Perfect Dark.
What game is it?
Perfect Dark.
The Perfect Dark. Yes, sorry, Shaddai, you just said that. We know that. It's okay, me. Hey, me. Well, I know that they're helping out with
almost came out.
Right? So, it's Crystal Dynamics. Now we hear about Eidos Montreal helping out with, obviously, with Fable. And there's a rumor circulating that because Microsoft was still heavily in transaction with the Activision Blizzard deal, that they may have went out and basically more or less asked Embracer or paid Embracer to more or less purchase out some of those studios so that they would basically pick them up after the fact once the deal closed with Activision Blizzard, or perhaps a fallback in case it went through. I mean, that sounds like a kind of a wild rumor, but do you think there could be any merit in it? It does kind of seem a little fishy that we've got both of these studios helping Xbox studios in the process.
No, that sounds way out there. I feel like there would be a higher chance of Embracer just wanting to have cutbacks, and then Microsoft could just use that opportunity to just hire anybody who isn't relocated to a different studio.
Right.
So I feel like that would be the easiest way for Microsoft to get a hold of that talent without having to buy a studio. But I don't know. I really don't see that happening. It's
an act of good faith to basically keep people employed, kind of deal.
Yeah.
Because we know that sections of all sections of a lot of studios are often contractual. They work on a case-by-case basis, and otherwise they're just kind of sitting on the unemployment line until something else comes up. So I think that might be part of it.
Yeah, because it makes me think back. Back in my hometown, once upon a time, there was a grocery chain that went out of business, and they were a pretty big chain. And so when they went out, the competitor in my town went ahead and they said, anybody who used to work for this company, you get first dibs on any open positions that we have. Make sure you guys aren't, losing your job. So it could be the same situation where Embracer shut down stuff to, save money. And, other companies, not just Microsoft, anybody right now could literally be like, you know what, you guys, are a great talent. We would love to have you aboard. I feel like those people aren't going to just be forgotten. They're going to either get transferred to another studio within Embracer, or somebody else is going to, pick them up. So they should be fine.
I agree. I great points. I don't know. I guess the way I would look at it is similar to, how you walk into a store, especially right now, to buy, say, a Series X or a PlayStation 5, and they always have that one per customer. But what's to say you can't give your friend $700 and then walk in the store after you to buy it for you? It could be a scenario very similar to that, although I highly doubt it. But, at the end of the day,
that would be highly illegal.
Highly illegal, yeah. Well, we've seen worse things happen, right? But it really sucks. But we know that in the industry, good talent will continue to go. Will continue to find work. There's a lot of shifting from studio to studio all the time. But it really sucks, regardless, that some studios get shut down for whatever reason. They just don't become part of that portfolio. Maybe they're poorly managed. Maybe, like I said, their projected sales rates are far below expectation and just don't match the amount of money going in, is not coming back. There's probably a million different reasons, right? But, we all hope that they do find employment. And most importantly, like for me, I just hope that it doesn't, all of these shutdowns and stuff don't hamper future iterations of the Tomb Raider franchise. Because I love Tomb Raider. They killed it with those. See, that's the thing, right? In my opinion, they killed it with those games. They made 3 phenomenally great games, but they weren't exactly blowing the doors off from a sales perspective either. Even with one of the most recognizable leading ladies in video games, why doesn't Tomb Raider, which is a multi-plat, sell in the same breath as a game like Super Smash Brothers or
Uncharted.
or even the Uncharted. Uncharted, I would imagine, and I don't have the figures to back it up, I'm sorry, but just based on the stuff I see, I think Uncharted sells better than Tomb Raider, I would imagine. I mean, that might be largely due to the fact that Tomb Raider 4, for example, came bundled with PlayStation 4s for a long period of time, so that definitely helps. I don't know, but I'm just concerned about the future of some of the franchises.
I feel...
Go ahead.
I was going to say, I feel that since Crystal Dynamics is basically the face of Tomb Raider now, and Eidos Montreal was basically just a supporting role, it just makes sense to just get rid of them and just relocate the talent over to Crystal Dynamics so they can keep making the same games without having to be paying for 2 separate studios. It's a lot of money to keep, the lights on and stuff, or if they're not really, doing that much over there. Just move the talent. So I feel like that's what they're probably doing.
It could very well be. Let's catch up with the chat real quick as we got some beauties in here this morning. Welcome, Mr. Jason Max. Good to see you. We got Back from the Dead. Yes, he is here indeed. Good morning, sir. Good to see you. We got our good friend Dizzy Delta in the building. What's happened, Dizzy? And we got Newf Torres hanging out with us this morning. And as I said, my good buddy Seamus Kelly's hanging out with us here as well. We got Nix. We got Dragonheart Yobi in the building. What's going on, brother? The great one, Mr. Dirt Grady himself, is in the building. What's happening, Dirt Grady? Good to see you here as well. Jacob Novik, the God of War, is here as well. We got Joker in the building, and many, many more. Casket Repair is here with us as well. Caper Grant, Doggy Dog still with us as always. The list goes on, just keeps getting better. Thank you guys for your support. It means a world to me, and it means a world to the panel. But being this is my first day back as a host of the show, and as Axel pointed out to me prior to the show, it's been 5 months apparently. So yeah, so welcome everybody, and thanks for supporting. As we always say, or people say at the Gamers United Guild, support and be supported. It is greatly appreciated. Yes, you can check out many great podcasters, as I put up on the screen earlier, www.gamersunitedguild.com. A lot of great content. That's where you can find all the podcasts in one easy to find place without having to search for 40 different channels. All that stuff. And don't forget www.xboxgamerpicks.com. If you want the best gamer picks in the business, there's the one and only graphic god. He will get it done for you, and he does it at a fantastic price. So hit him up if you need some stuff done. Shameless plug, but hey, I gotta do what I gotta do. They're my buddies, no matter no matter how I'm perceived in the world, with some people certain times. Everything's good. John Wolf in the building. What's happening, brother? Good to see you here, my friend. Alrighty. Shall we move on to topic number 2?
Let's do it. Let's do it.
All right. Who's the biggest Hedgehog fan in the building here?
Probably
My
have to be
husband.
me.
My husband is.
Either me or you, Newf.
So, Scrub, was that a good or was that like a eh? I'm trying to figure it out.
It's one of those Coolcat Terris, like whatever. I'll sit and listen. I have my little input, but yeah, I'm not the biggest Sonic fan, especially nowadays.
Well, you know what? Let's start with Coolcat Terri, since she does have the blue hair, and her husband apparently is a massive Sonic fan. The only time Terry has to keep him in check is when they go to bed. She said, "Dear, you can slow it down now, not so fast."
Oh my god.
Oh boy, went to the gaming after dark territory. Yeah. Take out. Don't put those blue pajamas on. And not tonight, dear. Terry, obviously, if you can't speak for yourself, how do you? I mean, there's your husband picking up Sonic Frontiers, and what's your takeaway from the video footage? I mean, God of War. We've seen that reviews came out early. It seems that happens to a lot of games that are projected to get high scores, or they're very confident in giving out the review copies. Whereas, I don't know, has anybody seen an actual review for Sonic Frontiers? It's been relatively quiet for such a, quote unquote, one of the biggest games of the fall.
Yeah, no, I haven't seen any reviews. I haven't even seen any footage for the game. The only thing I've ever seen about the game was the little teaser they did, with the logo, and that was about it. My husband, regardless, he's a big Sonic fan, so he gets everything whenever a new game drops. So I know he's excited for it, and I mean, he's never been overly disappointed with any of the games. I mean, there's been things that he has disliked, like I feel like all fans weren't really big on the whole werehog thing that they did, and some other aspects, but but I mean, he's still, there were still plenty of other aspects of those games that he still liked, so he can still pick out things that are enjoyable within it. He doesn't see the whole game as a flop like a lot of other fans would do.
Right.
So, I mean, I feel like he's going to be happy with it. Right now, I'm trying to get him to finish Sonic Colors. I told him he's not allowed to get Frontiers until he finishes Colors because he's been getting back into Destiny again, so he hasn't been playing Colors. So I'm like, you're not getting this one until this one's done. It's like, I'm putting my foot down. So, I am, because he hasn't touched it in like months, and I'm like, no, finish it. But yeah, no, I really don't know what's going on with this game. Like I said, I haven't been paying attention. I don't play Sonic. I don't do platformers like those. I'm terrible at them. Every time I try to get through a Sonic game, I just get lost and confused, and I fall in a hole somewhere. I just it's not for me. But you
But
know,
your
I
husband
know he'll be
has it
happy.
pre-ordered. I guess he's pretty excited.
No,
to pick
we
it up.
don't do pre-orders anymore.
Okay.
We find pre-orders to be like pretty much a scam because they don't ever give you anything worthwhile for a pre-order anymore. For the majority of games these days, pre-orders
Right.
is just dumb. You can literally go there day one and buy the game and get the same for it.
Yeah,
It's
especially
like
in the larger games. Yeah.
pre-orders are just a waste. So no, he'll pick it up when he's ready, and by the time he finishes Colors, Frontiers might even be on sale. Who knows at the rate he's going? So he'll enjoy the game either way.
He's
Well,
never finished.
since we're still with you, what's
No.
been your favorite Sonic experience or game? I mean, especially we can kind of avoid the Genesis era because I think most of those were fantastic. But Sonic has had a much rougher transition to the 3D realm than Super Mario certainly has. A lot of us still have very fond memories of Sonic Adventure and Sonic Adventure 2, which were pretty solid titles, but is that largely due to nostalgia? Were they really that good, or were they just good for the time? Do you know what I mean? And then since that, it's been a mixed match. It's like Sega and the studios behind Sonic never really know where to go with it, or they kind of throwing darts at the board to see what sticks. They keep throwing extra characters in. They kind of mess with the formula constantly, and the only time it sort of came back around, in my opinion, was when they really went back to doing some of the 2D/3D stuff. Like if you look at Sonic Generations from the Xbox 360, very solid title. And then more recently Sonic Mania, which totally went back to the sprite-based graphics and got good reviews and was well received by gamers, and it was made by I forget the guy's
Sean
name,
Whitehead.
Whitehead or something like that,
Yeah, Sean Whitehead.
who basically did it as a fan service backed by Sega and did a bang up job. So what's been your favorite experience since some of those games?
You still talking to me?
Yeah,
Oh.
you. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
And if you can't speak for yourself, perhaps the one that your husband really liked the most.
Oh, I think his favorite one was it Sonic 2? I think Sonic 2 or whatever. The one where you had like the Knuckles thing that slapped on top of it that clipped in on the
Oh,
Genesis.
Sonic and Knuckles 3. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Sonic 3.
Yeah, whatever one that you had to snap on the other addition
Yeah.
to it or whatever. That was his favorite one. I recall. Out of all
The
of them.
cartridge tower, yes, gotta love those.
Yeah, like that's his all-time favorite one. But but like I said, he's enjoyed all of them, even the 3D ones. He really enjoys them. And so it's I don't know. He's a very die-hard fan where he's not going to just be like, oh, these games are trashy. Like like you see a lot of these fans where if it's not the way that they want it, it's instantly trash. And it's he can still find things about it that make it shine.
Right. I was gonna say there's been a lot of iterations of Sonic between the comics
Yes.
and the TV shows and the movies. So that's the whole thing too. Everybody sort of
Yeah.
has their favorite version of everybody's favorite blue hedgehog. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Thank God the
It's
movies were
created
actually really
correctly.
good, at least in my opinion. But
What
Oh, the
changes is if they
were fantastic.
create it correctly.
And for Axel, the reason why he hasn't finished Colors is he didn't have the platform it originally came out on, so he had to wait for it to come to Xbox One. So then he picked it up. So
Okay.
gotcha. I'm really curious now as to how Sonic Frontiers is even going to run well on the Switch. That'll be an interesting one, because I got a funny feeling it's going to sell really well on the Switch. But will it play well enough on the Switch is a key. Like, is the frame rate going to be absolutely horrendous, or I haven't
it's gonna
really
be
seen
23
enough
it's gonna-
footage of it.
He filmed AF. 23 frames a second.
Yeah, that's the only way to slow Sonic down is with poor frame rates. He's
Yeah.
stuck in the leg.
Yeah, I
Let's go
think
down
the
to you,
way,
Shaddai.
No, for me, the last time I played Sonic was in the 360. I think they were trying to remake the whole Sonic, everything like that. But for some reason, I kind of stopped playing that. I don't know. I kind of felt like I lost the love for Sonic. It's nothing wrong. I love Sonic. I don't mind it. I played it before a little bit, but that's a game that I barely touch. I don't know. It's something about it. But from what I have seen for Frontiers, it looks really awesome, and I think this is the first time that they're making Sonic as an open world, since everything is becoming pretty much an open world. Am I gonna get it? No, because this month has been so crowded. Now that Pentiment is coming around the corner, and then you have God of War. So that's a game that actually is gonna be pretty much backed off from pretty much you want to call it the big bangers. But I'm not gonna get it. I really not interested, but I'm not gonna get it. I seen the videos. It looks awesome, very unique, but no, I will not get it. I really not.
Will you get it when it's cheap?
Like I said, I really don't know because it's so crowded right now, and I'm still working on a Plague Tale Requiem and Like I said, Pentiment is next week, so I don't know how long it's gonna take me to beat that, knowing how Obsidian is with their games. So yeah, so I really don't know if I'm gonna get it or not.
But that's a game within the game, right? Is the backlog pile of games? Well, back in the day it would have been a pile. Now it's a digital cluster. But
Pretty
Mhm.
much, but that's pretty much it. It's like classic, you know.
I know there is so many games. It's like the best worst problem to have in the world right now, right? Is to have so many games that it's hard to know even what to buy or what to play anymore. And like I said, I can say what I like about Game Pass. We all know how I feel about it, but
Mm.
it's one of the beauties of Game Pass, man, is that if you play a lot of video games, or you certainly don't have a lot of money to buy a ton of games, Game Pass is definitely for you. There is something for everybody. There's
Mhm.
no problem to find something to play. If you can't, you're like beyond picky. It's just been a wealth of games, and the value is unprecedented, and it's why Game Pass continues to shake up the industry. I mean, kudos to Microsoft on the foresight. You got a lot of different opinions of it. A lot of them obviously come from the other side of the camp, and I think that's largely because of jealousy and the fact that their company isn't pushing the way forward. Their company is only pushing prices sky high, as we saw by the PSVR 2, which I can't wait to talk about on Tuesday night's GID. Um, yeah, but there we go. Let's get up to you, Axel. I know, Axel, you probably have a bit of a fondness for the Blue Hedgehog, especially being such a retro, old-school gamer. The Sonic, Mario, Clash of the Titans, so to speak. It's kind of funny, no matter how much I look at it, seeing both of those mascots on a Nintendo platform still blows my mind to this day, because we would have thought that would have been impossible at one point in time, and here we are, right? Where they
Yeah,
coexist side by side.
it's unnatural. I hate to say it, it's unnatural.
Do you think there's a
If you grew up in
possibility
the
that Sonic and
'90s,
Mario team up for a movie? That could
yeah,
be cool.
I mean, it
It's called Wreck-It Ralph.
the console wars in the '90s were so much more loyal than this than the current. Like, you want to talk console wars, you got to go back to the '90s, because even the companies hated each other back then. And so when Sonic was on the Nintendo, it just felt unnatural. It was weird. But we're talking about games, not the console war.
That's right.
So yeah, I played them all. I do like Sonic Unleashed with the Werehog. I thought that was a great transition. If Mario can turn into a Tanuki, why can't Sonic turn into a Werehog? That's some baloney,
Right.
right? Um, I feel that Sonic that where 3D Sonics have failed has been that they've only been forward moving, and they're moved forward so fast it makes it difficult to platform and maintain that speed until you memorize the courses. Which, no offense, in today's day, nobody's memorizing courses like we used to in the '90s. New, I used to try to get Sonic 3 to go so fast I would break the screen scroll. I wanted him to go faster than the screen could scroll, and you could do that. And that was fantastic. So I think where 3D Sonics have failed or have fallen short has been just that 3D section where Sonic is going so fast. He has that kind of like air shield in front of him where he just knocks into everything and nothing really hurts him. And I think that's something that Sonic Frontiers is trying to address. I don't know if you saw it, but now you have some actual attacks that is more than just running and jumping on bad guys. Sonic punches. Sonic can create trails with his um, I don't know, with his tail, the
Mm-hmm.
with his shadows.
Right.
Um, I feel that Sonic is getting a lot more interesting attacks in Sonic Frontiers. That's the thing that really excites me is that the variance of attacks that Sonic is getting. The reason Sonic Colors and Sonic Generations work so well is because they're 2.5D all the time. You know, you got classic Sonic going sideways and modern Sonic going forward through and the levels transition naturally. And then Sonic Colors, where he got those power ups, helps from those other beans, was really fun. It's just the formula. I think is they're starting to figure it out ever since Sonic Colors. You know, Sonic. What was it? Not Frontiers, but the last 3D one that came out. Sonic Forces.
Sonic Forces, yes.
Yeah, Sonic Forces. I thought was a really good premise where you got to create your own character, which was kind of fun and funny at the same time. I would create monstrosities, and I just thought it was hilarious. And yes, I do play all my Sonic games on my Nintendo Switch because I like they're not as hardcore games. I don't need to focus and see every little pixel density as good as I don't know something like Doom Eternal, you know. And so for me, Sonic games work better on the Nintendo Switch for me.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, is it going to run at 23 filmic frames per second? Absolutely, it is. There's no way this thing doesn't run at 20, doesn't have slowdown and freeze frames and everything on the Nintendo Switch. It already has them on the PlayStation 5 and on the Xbox Series X. So they do need to modify it. Will it score well? I'm not sure. Am I going to get it? I'm going to ask for it. Hopefully my wife gets it for me because I just bought Bayonetta 3 in lieu for everything else for the next month. So yeah.
Have you played that one yet, Axel? How is it?
Which one?
Bayonetta 3.
I have not loaded it up yet.
Okay.
I have not. It's freaking Split Difference. Do you see what Split Difference typed?
I'm looking at one of your monstrosities on your screen right now, Axel.
Thanks, Split Difference. Oh my gosh. Yeah. I'm sorry. What was? No, have I played Bayonetta 3? No, not yet. I haven't launched it yet.
Sorry, not to take you off topic, but I was watching one reviewer was talking about it and found that considering it was a game that was made for the Nintendo Switch, that it has some technical issues, and it he found it kind of offsetting. It might have even been RGT. I thought
RGT.
it was kind of funny that the game has, like I said, issues considering it was built for the Switch. This isn't like a port or anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Another fun thing about Bayonetta 3 is that the Monster Control combat engine that they have was created for Scalebound.
Interesting.
So yeah, you know how we were supposed to control our dragon in Scalebound? That's how
had to bring
Bayonetta
it
controls her demons in Bayonetta. So yeah,
that game will not die.
10 years later, we're going to be mentioning Scalebound's. Like, what happened to it?
I just think it's an interesting fact that they recycled the tech. That's all I'm saying.
You might as well if you got it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Why not?
Why not?
Yeah, and the studio still keeps reaching out to Microsoft for money.
Oh, I hope he doesn't. That guy is so unhinged.
Yeah, no doubt.
Oops, sorry. Watch out now.
So we just get a fart, but we got to choke. What's going on over there?
Sonic is running so fast, he's leaving quills in my throat. Let's go.
I don't know if that's running, Newf.
Yes, good to see you, Splendiferous. Mr. Kima's in the chat. What's going on? Guys, you are fantastic. Scrub, how do you feel about it? Are you picking it up? Could care less? Going to wait for a discount? What's the deal? And do you think it's going to score well?
It's kind of hard to tell as far as scoring well. I am not excited about it. I liked it more when it was 2D scroller. I have gone on YouTube. I've seen some videos of it being played, some of the boss fights. It just seems bland to me. It doesn't, I don't get excited when I watch it. One of the boss fights that I did see on YouTube, it just, because it's 3D and it'd be hard to keep up. It's not moving as fast. There's a lot of empty sound. As far as, you'll get a couple of ring, cling, 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 cling. There's going to be a low sounding music in the background, but You're not getting a lot of sound from the villain. I know in the older games, Sonic wasn't talking in those as well. So Sonic's not talking in the game. So it just seems weird. It almost gives you a vibe when of a like Sonic the Hedgehog meets Final Fantasy. Like right before the match or after you're fighting the boss, everybody's no mouth is moving. It's kind of quiet. Music starts up, and then here comes the fight, and then it's over with, and then your protagonist is just standing there, and then some more music, and then it goes to the next one. It just didn't bring the excitement. I don't understand why, but everybody has to jump on the let's make it open world. It got to be open world. The last 20 games that came out with open world, we got to have something to make it open world to make it more fun. And I just don't think when you have a game and when you have a platform that that is so unique, even in this era, that there's a lot of games that are 2D side scrollers that have come back and have made a gigantic splash. This is where you started. We even mentioned earlier how you were saying how they brought back some of the old looks of the game and they
Yeah.
were a big hit. To me, why go to the open world part?
Right.
Like I said, it could be great. Look at Zelda and Breath of the Wild. I don't think this will touch anywhere close to that, but I'm just not excited about it. I will not pick it up, but I don't have anything against Sonic. It's not like, oh, I just hate Sonic games, but this is just it. It ain't for me. The only way I would play it would be a side scroller, and then like Coolcat Terry said, platformers, depending on what it is, I'm not gonna play it. Most platformers I won't play. Last platformer I played, and before that was a decade or more before that was Psychonauts. Dude, that was just awesome.
Hmm.
But we'll see. As far as the score, like I said, I don't play. We don't have a review copy, so I won't say what the score is. But it just looks very empty in the world, and like I
Hmm.
said, there's a lot of empty sound. So I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, it might be splitting difference,
Right.
but I'm just telling you what I see. I mean, I'm not gonna fluff call it right or wrong. If I like it, I like it. If I don't, I'm
Okay.
gonna tell you straight up. Yeah.
I'll finish off and I'll try to keep it quick and try to keep it to the point because I do have a few points here. I mean, first of all, is it going to sell well? Absolutely. I think it will. Is it going to score well? I think it will definitely not be terrible, but I don't expect to see any Sonic game up in the 90s. And it could be a near perfect game, and I still don't think we'd see that. That's the funny thing about this industry, and I guess it's the funny thing about games and game genres in particular, right? Because while we know that games like God of War and a lot of the PlayStation titles now are almost tied to Metacritic, and what I mean by that is, it seems like a lot of their success is largely due to their score based. If they score really high, it's like the community gets behind them and that boosts their sales. But every other game is not necessarily a product of that same environment. And I'm going to say that with Sonic because we've seen that notoriously Sonic games haven't been necessarily terrible, but they haven't been exactly like the world on fire. They certainly haven't been scored nearly as well as the Mario games, right? You cannot fault the developers for definitely taking chances with Sonic because every Sonic game I think we've seen in the last decade has been vastly different than the one before it. So they try new things, which again they're trying with Sonic Frontiers. But does it equal success? From a sales perspective, it sure does. And again, that's because Sonic and Mario and a lot of these games are universal style games. Like they're worldwide properties, meaning they're recognized in many countries around the world, not just in a native territory or whatever. Whereas like you can look at Psychonauts, right? Psychonauts 2, a near perfect game that should be played by millions of more players, still did not get a lot of eyes on, even though it was in Game Pass. Why is that? Because a lot of people don't know about Psychonauts, or they're not, you know what I mean? But it's an amazing game. Sonic is going to sell regardless. Mario is going to sell regardless. So sometimes I have to wonder, does the developer even have to go the extra mile? Or do they really care that the game is... I mean, to them, they want it to be a great game. But do they really care if it's a 9 or 10 or it gets scored 9 or 10s because it's going to sell ridiculously well is what I'm saying. It's like it kind of just gets that pass because it's a kind of property that's going to sell. It's just like the sports games, right? They're going to sell regardless if they're trash or not. Madden is going to sell its annual 10 million copies or more. NBA 2K is going to sell. And Sonic is kind of in that same boat. Like Call of Duty's. This is the biggest selling game. It's going to destroy everything out this year, hands down, okay? Without a shadow of a doubt. It's already done $800 million in 3 days. It's damn well going to be the biggest selling game of the year. There is no question about it. But you look at the scores for the campaign. You know, it's getting 6s and 7s. It's not exactly blowing people's minds. But does the Carrot Infinity Ward or the publisher of Activision even really care at this point? Like I think that's kind of where Battlefield thought they were going to get away with. They're like, well, you know what, our games sell well enough anyway. We don't really have to make a campaign. The percentage of people that actually play it and beat it is like, I don't know, 10% of perhaps everyone that buys it. So they just kind of go, why even make the campaign? Is it even worth our time and investment to make a campaign that most people really don't care about? Now, I know a lot of people, including myself, I love the Call of Duty campaigns. I always have loved it.
Campaign.
It's fantastic. And it looks, oh my God, it's finally a game that really starting to look like it was built on next-gen hardware. But this is my point, right? I'm excited for Sonic Frontiers. I love the open world aspect, even though you guys know I'm not the biggest open world fan, but I think this might be just what the doctor ordered, because if there's one thing I've always kind of hated about Sonic games, especially in my later years, is that they're sort of confined to a 2D plane. A lot of times with Sonic, you constantly run into stuff and you die because you can't really see where you're going. You know, you're going so fast, so maybe a little more landscape, a little more foot room, so to speak, is just what the doctor ordered for Sonic the Hedgehog, to give you a true sense of speed in a 3D realm, where you're not always worried about jumping off a platform and falling to your death and stuff like that. I mean, that might be part of it, but I'm excited. If they do it right, there is tons of potential. Again, but we don't need Sonic bored down with a lot of fetch quests. Like Sonic the Frontiers does not need to be Assassin's Creed, all right? It has to be a fun action platformer with open space worlds, in my opinion. And, that's one of the level designs I've always kind of hated with Sonic the Hedgehog. Even in the 2D realm, I always start off with that amazing first level where there's a lot more speed, a lot more loop-de-loops and stuff. And then you start getting to some of these later levels where you're slowing down Sonic the Hedgehog. You're going up, you're going down, you're on platforms, you're in tubes. Like, it's just, you know what I mean? Yeah. And while they may seem fantastic, even personally, I know some people love those ping pong levels or the, whatever you call the pinball levels of Sonic. I kind of hated them. Like, I thought they were kind of cool from a fun perspective, but also kind of hated them because half the time you're going down these things, you go ding, ding, you're just bouncing all around. And it's like, I want to go forward. I want to be fast. Why are we taking speed away from Sonic? Every level should be solely designed to get this little M4 up to full speed ahead, really utilizing that. So, like I said, I'm excited for the game. I think it's going to do extremely well. I don't know if I'll buy it day one. Like I said, it's going to be $90 Canadian. If I'm going to buy it, it's most likely going to be for PS5 or Xbox Series X because, like I said, I have my doubts it's going to run worth a damn over on the Switch. Might be a passing curiosity, or I pick up the Switch at a cheaper price. But just before we come back to the panel here, let's catch up with some of the chat because we got some incredible people in here, plus a couple of super chats. So I got to catch up with Kay Asante in the building this morning. What's up, Kay Asante? We got Splendiferous here, and he dropped a $2 super chat earlier. Let's get to that. He says, go ahead, Axel. You can do the honors.
He said, good morning, my friends. Scrub, Terry, Newf, Shaddai, Axe. Good morning, Splendiferous.
And good morning, you. Yes, and then he comes back with another $5 super chat. Boom!
If Xbox is smart, they will have a Sonic bundle with the Series S this holiday. I think they need to have a serious dev like Double Fine work on it. AAA. Okay.
Well, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say this, and there's been a lot of speculation in the past, but I'm going to say this. If the Activision Blizzard deal does fall through from Xbox, I wholeheartedly expect them to go full force after Sega. Full force.
I hope they do. I love Sega.
I think that would be the next logical step. you pick up Sega and you have IPs up the yin yang,
Or
right?
Ubisoft.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Sega would be a safer bet for because of the Japanese presence, the development studios there, and again the wealth of IPs that are worldwide recognizable. Having Sonic underneath an Xbox banner would be absolutely ginormous, right? And
Well,
again,
if
it
you
would be
take
one
that
of those. Right?
if you take that $70 billion, it could actually give you two for the price of one. So you get your Ubisoft and your Sega.
Well, perhaps. But I definitely think if this Activision thing falls through, I don't think Xbox is done for sure. They're going to come back with a spit and vengeance on that one. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
So I would hate to be in their way.
If they get Activision, they're still going to be buying. So it's going to be interesting to see.
They can say it no matter what.
Yeah, they're buying more after, no matter what.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. Sante says, Newf, I totally agree about you on Sonic. The newer 3D games are better than they need to level design wise, but it's under-deserved because you need to slow down Sonic. I think I read that right. I'm not sure.
Yeah, you got to slow it down and make it through.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. You can't go too fast, and you can't figure out where you're going.
Exactly, and that's what I've seen on like I said, some of the boss fights and some of the others is definitely you can tell it slowed down. But then they have some speed run levels as well, and it's a totally different thing, and I love it even more.
And Jason Max comes in with probably the biggest fact of the day.
The CMA would cry about Sonic like Call of Duty. PlayStation would just go under if Sonic was exclusive.
Don't take our Sonic! Ah!
They took our Sonic. How will anybody know that we have a fast SSD without Sonic?
Nice. All right. Over an hour into the show. Any further thoughts about Sonic? And the chat, if you're getting Sonic on day one, hit 1. If you're picking up Sonic Frontiers perhaps later or not at all, hit 2. Would love to know from you guys in the chat if it's going to be a hit or a miss. And if you have a Metacritic score, feel free to predict it. We had, I think, Doggy Dog said about 79, I think it was, or 78. I think actually you said 79. Yeah, I'm saying 79. Around 80, maybe 82. I don't think it's going to be terrible. I just don't think it's going to be like, hey, it's going to... yeah, we got a lot of 2s in here.
There's lots of 1s.
Sonic Mania only scored an 83, so keep that in mind.
Oh my god, and Sonic Mania was fantastic.
Wow.
Yeah, that only got an 83. So
wow, Splendiferous going real high at 88. Well, that's wishful thinking. You know. That's funny how the perception of these games is, right? Because we're based on its past track record history. We're also based perhaps on a little bit of media bias or hate, or who knows how this stuff goes anymore, like, to be honest with you, right? Yeah. So, but yeah, it's like nobody's kind of going, oh, it's going to be like a 95. Why is it? You just think they're incapable of making like one of a perfect Sonic game? Or is it just, like I said, because they know it's going to sell otherwise? It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be good, and it has to be fun. And maybe that's all it really needs. It's just
not like you're going to get another Eggman, a different Eggman.
Yeah. I guess that's like I've said this on podcasts before. I think the whole games industry as a whole in the community has to start being at least okay with the fact that not everything is going to be a Metacritic superstar, right? That's just like movies. Right. Like if you had to wait to go to the movies and wait till everyone had a 5-star review or had a 90 critic score or whatever, how many movies are you going to watch in the run of a year? And trust me, there's a lot more movies that come out on a year-to-year basis than games. And how many of them are actually what you call Academy Award worthy, or they score really well? I mean, half the movies we watch during the summer, they're only average at best. But we go to them because they are fun, and games are meant to be fun. You can accept a few flaws here and there. Like glitches aren't really the bad as long as they're not game breaking bad. I mean, okay, your character clipped through a wall, or there's some weird graphical effects or something, but we can live with those. Sometimes we laugh at them. It's when they're game breaking, like your saves get corrupted, or you get stuck in a part in the level where you have to reset or can't move forward. Yeah, those are bad. But I don't know. It's kind of weird.
but also it's word of mouth. So the more hype you give to that, the more people will want to either see it or play it. So that's what happens when we talk
Hmm.
a lot of Metacritics. A lot of people is like, for some they don't care about those, but at the same time they do care, and that's how you end up, you know, getting the game. You're just getting hyped for what other people are saying.
KS Sunday has an interesting thing in the chat. Him and Boomstick have a bet about Ragnarok will beat Sonic sales wise this Christmas. He says Sonic will win 2-1. That's an interesting theory. What do you guys think? Do you think Ragnarok has the godly powers to beat Sonic? Because personally, I'm going to start first and say no. And the reason I'm going to say that, not because
No.
God of War isn't a phenomenal game and doesn't deserve great sales, but it is tied to the PS4 and the PS5. It's not a
Mm-hmm.
multiplat. And Sonic is going to do gangbusters over in Japan. Again, being on the Switch, and the Switch is like hands down the largest selling platform over there. And it's going to sell well here too. It's Sonic. Sonic just sells. And of course, coming off of two great movies and being the first Sonic game in several years, no, I don't think God of War is going to touch Sonic in sales. What do you think,
I
guys and gals?
I
Sonic is going to
agree.
look at Kratos and just be like, "Boy."
Boy, I'm gonna bite the flower, you boy.
Boy.
That'd be funny if he
Um,
looks at Tails and goes, "Boy." Go ahead, Terry.
God of War is going to crush Sonic.
Yeah.
Just by looking at the past, people say that Sonic Mania was the best one. That sold like 1 million copies. God of War and the PS4 sold 10 million copies, so it crushed it. So more people are going to be excited for Ragnarok than Frontiers.
Oh, that's a given. Well, at least the older
Yeah, so
older gamers.
you
But
know,
we know
so
it's the casuals and the parents going to speak with their wallets this Christmas, right?
That's right.
Mhm.
Just like the Series S is probably the Switch is going to sell like gangbusters again, I'm sure. I mean, who the hell doesn't have a Switch yet? And I think Series S is going to be another sales winner again from a console perspective this winter. I mean, with prices going up, it only looks better. You know what I mean? The PlayStation just jumped almost $50 up here in Canada. So when you're walking into the stores now, that little, Canadian, it's $379. That looks pretty impressive right next to a $400 Switch, doesn't it?
Mhm.
Yeah, well, and while PlayStation might be outselling Xbox worldwide, in the American market, Xbox has been the best-selling console for 6 months running almost.
And I think it was you said it, Scrub. I don't know if it was you said they should do a marketing thing for Sonic Frontiers. But could you imagine that, like the Sonic Frontiers Xbox bundle? That
Oh,
would be a pretty big
that
seller, I think.
that would be helpful. I think they would lean more for that for a Switch. To be honest, but
Nah, Nintendo never does anything like that.
yeah, I don't think they would do it because it's just extra money to spend to get that bundle, and why do it? Series S has so much momentum right now. Just the price parity alone, plus what the console can do, I think it's going to be killer like it was last Christmas. It's going to do the same thing this Christmas. Just the price alone. Even coming with parents who don't know what kind of power the system has, what it had, the price alone, the small form factor, especially if they're thinking going in a kid's room, is perfect. Um, you don't need, most of these people never need the 4K abilities of anything right now because still a lot of people don't have 4K TVs,
Hmm.
especially when it comes down to a kid's room. Unless it's a parent that is really into electronics, they still got 1080p TVs.
Hmm.
So I think the Series S it's just a perfect blend. It's going to be gangbusters, and God of War will win. I do believe the copies as well, because one thing you got to always look at too is when Metacritic scores and OpenCritic and all this stuff, people look at that. I don't know why they look at it for, oh, should I buy this game? Metacritic said it was bad. OpenCritic said it was bad. Stop, please
Hmm.
stop it, people. If you have a favorite podcast or a favorite reviewer that kind of likes the exact kind of stuff you like, that would be person I would lean on more than going by those open. It's just like going to the movies and am I going to not go to the next Marvel movie because some critic in the newspaper on TV says it's not as good? What do they know? I know what I like. So I'm going to go see what I want
Exactly.
to
You
like.
know what you like.
Mm-hmm.
So if you like Sonic, just go buy it. Stop squabbling. You know what I mean? Or you can do like most people do. Well, wait for it to come to Game Pass.
Pretty much.
We got a $2 super chat coming in from Splendiferous again, who's basically opened his wallet this morning. Thank you, Splend. Great for the support. Thank you. Go ahead, Axel.
He says, God of War will be balls soggy Cheetos versus Sonic. Balls soggy Cheetos, Jesus Christ. Gotta take some soap to that.
Just the thought of Cheetos balls. I don't know. Yeesh. I gotta apologize to Coolcat Terri this morning. You know why? Because I am so rusty at this crap now. I had totally forgotten we are over an hour into the show, and I never even taught about the Indie Spotlight. Did you have one, Terri, or am I?
I do. I always have one.
Okay, I figured as much, and I'm sitting there thinking something's not right with the show today. What is it? And then I'm like, oh my god, I totally forgot. And you didn't send me nothing in the private messages. I was like, okay, all right. So why don't we do that before we get to our final topic? Sorry, better late than never, or always late and great. So let's do it, Terri. So whenever you're ready, pull it up on the screen, and we'll.
I'm ready.
Have you share. All righty, guys. Sorry about that, but let's bring it up for you here. And introduce us, shall we?
All right, everybody, I got another great one for you, and I'm just going to do the trailer first. It just makes it easier. Hard to explain something if you don't know what I'm talking about.
Here we go.
Not yet rated.
Let's look. Taiwan. It's a beat 'em up.
Shang-Chi.
Chanding.
All right, everybody.
Wow.
So, the Legend of the TM Ding, and this one is on all platforms. So get it on your Switch, get it on PC, PlayStation, Xbox, wherever you want to get it. It's $20, but it's right now available on Xbox and PC Game Pass. So go ahead and download it right now. No excuses on that one. It's on Game Pass, so you can't say you can't play it. Get it and enjoy that. It's a side-scrolling action game, platformer, all kind of rolled into one. And you are playing as the Taiwanese folk hero Liao Tianding. And he's a vigilante of Taipei during like the early 20th century, back when they were having a lot of influence with Japan and everything else was going on. So you're going to have to go and check that out. And it's done in the traditional Chinese manga style. So that's pretty cool as well. And you also have the ability to equip different talismans that will alter the play style. So you can gear the character to play the way you want to play.
Nice.
You know what's funny? I think yesterday I was scrolling down Microsoft Store and I actually saw that and I wanted it to buy it, but I hold on to it for a bit. And I think now that you show this, now I feel like buying this now. Because I like the art style and the way it's, it's made side scroller. So
Terry, you never cease to amaze me. Every time I watch the indie spotlights, you always seem to come up with very unique titles. And a lot of titles, sometimes they slip right underneath the radar. Like, I didn't even know this game existed, and now I want to buy it. I think hopefully a lot of people do now after seeing that. That was a pretty cool trailer.
It was.
And it's fitting since you guys were talking a lot about Sega, so I feel like this kind of has
Exactly.
like
Yeah.
classic Sega kind of vibe too.
That's actually true.
It does.
That's
Getting
actually
a little like little Bruce Lee, like the comics, like a whole lot of different vibes going on there in that one little trailer. It was great.
For some reason, I'm like, it looks like the Assassin's Creed China, the small scale ones. So something similar to that.
Scrub, do you have anything for us today? Any particular thing on new releases or anything you wanted to share, or just keep moving the boat?
No, we can keep moving the boat. I mean, Axel brought it up. One of the main things that's coming up pretty soon is Pentiment on the 15th. But other than that, no, not today. We're good.
All
Next
right,
year,
all
Scrub is
right.
going to be busy.
Oh yes, be very, very
Yeah,
busy.
gonna be a lot of games next year.
Mhm.
Woo! Yeah.
Yeah, speaking of it, it wasn't really a topic, but I'm just kind of curious how you feel about it. I don't know if you saw one of the. I guess he's been taking a bit of heat for it, but because he's sort of an Xbox guy, I guess, and he's certainly largely respected in the Xbox community. We're talking about Paris, and I don't know if you guys saw the tweet that he had where he basically said like Xbox needs to do better next year. Like say if the games that we know are coming out drop next year, we know that what do you call it? Redfall is supposed to come out. We know that Starfield is supposed to come out. I think Forza is technically supposed to come out. So there's at least probably 3 games next year that for the most part we can count on as Xbox gamers, unless the sky falls, and God please do not. But he kind of said like he still thinks it's like, well, I guess I should have brought up his tweet and he might have deleted it. I don't know, but
He
basically
said it
that
was
it's not
gonna be
enough from
announced.
Xbox because a lot of these games that are coming out next year were delayed from this past year. Do you think that's a fair assessment? Because if you look at Sony's track record, and not to kind of do the console war stuff, but a lot of the games that they have this year were delayed from last year as well, or the remakes. So I think he's kind of put himself in a little bit of hot water there. How do you guys feel about that? Like, do you think next year's lineup is just great regardless? Or do
Yeah,
you think we
next.
see more games, or do you think because those games got pushed to 2023, do you think there's a potential that the so-called slated 2023 games could possibly now get pushed into 2024?
Um, I do believe all three can be true in this situation. Yeah, there's going to be a good set of games that are already slated. I do believe that it's going to be packed because a lot of them are pushed back from this year. But at the same time, I don't see how all those games can come out without somebody getting in the way of somebody else. And
Yeah.
I will not, I
That's
will,
actually true.
I will not be surprised if, let's say, one of them gets
Right.
maybe that early January, February 2024. But this is something that we've always talked about when we started back when Xbox was getting all these games. When we're talking about looking at 2018 being one of the bigger years for Xbox, what did we say about game cycles? I know I've been beating the drum 5-year game cycle. 2023 is when we should be seeing a lot of this stuff. Now, some of them we've missed out because of COVID, and some of the stuff that should have made it 2022 this year has gotten pushed back. But in my head, when I'm doing the math and what I've been excited for is I've been looking at 2023 the whole time. So I'm not worried or dismayed about what's going on because this is when the year I thought, hey, we're going to have so many games. It's going to be a big deal. So I'm excited for it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, I think next year is going to be. I think it'll definitely be a make or break kind of year for Xbox that they really have to deliver. Axel?
Yeah, I saw the tweet where he basically said, "Hey, if the E3 games come out plus some non-E3 games, he threw in Hellblade in there and
Yep.
other titles like that. If they come out, then it's still a down year for Xbox, and And the reason it gives is because they're all delayed, and I think that's a bunch of crap. Um, we all keep
Yeah.
saying delays are good, get the game better because we're tired of playing broken games. We're tired of 90 gigabyte downloads on day one,
Hmm.
um, all that stuff, and then to say, hey, it's just an average year if you release the games that are done. And
Right.
I think that's just so contradicting statements.
Hmm.
And you're either for games being made right or you're for games being made wrong, one or the other.
Yeah.
You know, I think next year is going to be fantastic for Xbox if they do 4 games that year, 4 AAA games, which two of them are going to be Redfall and Starfield, which Starfield I think is going to be a big time game of the year contender. But you also have Forza Motorsport, and if they throw in one more, if it's Hellblade, that's it, game
Well,
over.
look at that list of games right there.
Yeah,
If those all come to fruition, according to Jason Max, I mean, my God, is there any other way that you can not say that would not be a great year for Xbox?
right.
Like,
Stalker Two
holy.
is not coming out. Hate to break it to you, Jason Max.
Yeah,
It's been
Stalker
delayed
2. Yeah.
Yep.
indefinitely.
Hmm.
Even take that one out, that's still an impressive
Yeah, it's
lineup.
still a good list.
That's a good 2 year list for some years for some people. So
Right.
Yeah,
it I think it's a bad take. I mean, when you're talking in front of the camera all the
Surprising from
time,
Paris, too.
yeah, when you're in front of the camera and a mic all the time, sometimes I think you say stuff, and then sometimes people say stuff just to see the reaction. But in the last 2 3 years, everybody's had delayed games, and nobody
Mm.
was saying this. But now, when Xbox is coming out with all of these games, yes, it's been a disappointment. But to say that with all the games coming out that year, it's
Mm.
still going to be a disappointment. I don't know about that.
I don't buy it.
Maybe if you said this year it's a disappointment that the games didn't make it, but
Yeah.
say, oh, we got 10 games and a lot are coming to Game Pass. It's a disappointment because I didn't get it last. No, that sounds like a bunch of. It's not fanboy stuff, but it's stuff that you would hear fanboys would say because, like you said, PlayStation has delayed their games as well. This God of War game was not supposed to launch to
Mm.
on the 11th. It
And
was
a
it was
live game.
delayed. Every game that they've had in the last couple of years, big titles have been delayed.
Yeah.
All of them, Last of Us, any kind of game you thought was, oh, this is going to be the year, this is going to be the game of the year, usually ended up coming out the very next year. So
Mm.
the
Yeah,
same with
Yeah.
Nintendo and everybody else. All these games have been delayed, some to COVID, and some when you have a
Yeah.
big quality game, you want to make it right, like you said, New. So if it doesn't make it, let's make it better and push it back some.
I
Mhm.
would take a Hellblade 2 though over anything on that list, to be honest with you.
Oh
But
man, it
I
looks
don't.
so good.
I still don't know if Hellblade. I guess we'll know a lot by the time E3 rolls around this year where we think Hellblade is going to drop, because I think we don't see something significant on that game in the next 6 months or so. Then I don't suspect it will even come in 2023. So,
Right.
how do you feel about it, Shaddai or Terry? Is it a mute point, or is it just like I said? Maybe he's looking back. Maybe none of the games on that list really excite Paris that much. Maybe he's just not into those. There's no Forza. Well, there's Forza, but we
Yeah,
got no Gears. There's no Halos now at this point. Coming next year, at least not that we know of.
right.
You want to go, Terry?
You can go first.
The way I see it, I was talking to one guy in the Xbox, and we were talking about the RPGs, the Microsoft, and all that, the acquisition and all that. So for me, I came and said, since Starfield have been pushed back, I wouldn't be surprised if Microsoft would have put Starfield at the beginning of the year, let's say, just for just for fun and giggles, in March, but then you'll have Avowed at the end of the year. So to have like a 1-2 punch beginning and end, and whatever comes in between. So from what we know that we have the Starfield, the Forza Motorsports, and all that, the Lies of Peace. My biggest thing is that are you going to market correctly the games that you own? I really do not want to Microsoft repeat itself like it happened in the past. They have all this exclusive,
Mm-hmm.
but there is no marketing push for those games. That's my biggest concern right there.
Mm-hmm.
Because right now, at this time, Microsoft have acquired a lot of them,
Right.
and now they have already announced the games that they're trying to release for the Game Pass. I
Right.
know you're trying to push Game Pass, but you also have to push the game that
The
you
Well, the
actually
games will push Game Pass, and then Game Pass will push the games,
it
but you
will
got to
put
have the games first, right?
exactly. And also, please, to please treat your exclusive how it's supposed to. The reason why I'm saying that, it reminds me of Recore. It's an exclusive, but it has a rough edges. The same thing with Crackdown 3. So I hope for this
Mm.
year to make some changes in a lot of things, because this is a new year. They already have plenty of time due to COVID for them to polish out a lot of the games
Mm-hmm.
and for a lot of them to be marketed correctly. Even though if it's a back to let's say like it happened, I think it was last year or the year before that, it got to be last year, when you have Microsoft Flight Simulator and then you have Psychonauts. Even though you have a back to back, even though if you have a back to back exclusive or whatever the case may be, please market it correctly so they'll know and people know what are you getting, and the stuff, and what we just purchased, what you know the reason for us to why do we have the Xbox. But right now,
Right.
it's supposed to be have a bright future for Xbox with all these games,
Mm-hmm.
and for the future to come. That's one of the things that I'm
Well,
really focusing on.
some of Phil Spencer's recent interviews and some of the quotes that he said, certainly are a little bit concerning. Like he's saying, like Game Pass growth is more or less it's sort of stagnated a little bit. That people that
Yes.
have it already have it, and
Hmm.
again, that's because you need the games to sell Game Pass, and then Game Pass will help sell the games. And it has
Correct.
been relatively dry. No one can do it. I'm going to say this and go right out on a limb, and this is speculation, but I'm almost certain this is like good speculation that behind closed doors, I can tell you, when he's sitting down now at Sachi and the board members, they're pretty much looking at Phil and Matt Booty and the whole company saying, look, we understand delays are part of the industry, but we cannot have another year like 2022.
Hmm.
We already had a fiasco with Halo. Halo should have been the flagship game that basically drove console sales through the roof. Should have been the pinnacle flagship game that really drove Game Pass numbers, which it really did not. And you also see by the number of people still playing Halo, they are drastically lower than what I'm sure they had hoped and expected. So they've got issues there. So I'm going to tell you, and I mean, certainly if I was in Satch's shoes, my thoughts would be this. Game development and game delays, yes, are industry, but the costs are rising. It costs a lot of money to buy, retain, and keep these studios, keep people employed, keep games out. And if the games aren't coming, we're not making money. We're just spending it, right? They're also almost $70 billion tied up in an acquisition deal. So at some point, they have to see return on investment here. They have to start showing tough love. Games need to start coming. They have too many studios now to have big lulls in their lineup. This is what it's going to rely on. This is why Netflix does what they do. It's why there's so many Netflix things, because Netflix knows the moment they take the foot off the gas, the competition is stepping in with something. I think hopefully 22 is a year that we can forget and look past, but next year is going to deliver, hopefully, and hopefully they have a good roadmap moving forward and there's steady stream of content, which again is why the Activision deal is also so important, because then you have enough studios that there should basically be nobody not picking up the slack if somebody drops the ball. That's going to happen today, tomorrow, the next 5 years. That shit's going to happen. But they, like I'm telling you, this is stuff I'm sure that they're looking at and saying, like, if you want Game Pass to be mass adopted, and we want to get it everywhere, you've got to have the games out so people can keep staying excited. Again, out of sight, out of mind. When that shit happens, that's when stuff falls off. We see this even with actors in the movie industry or bands. When they take long periods of time between content, people forget about them. They go from being the top of the pinnacle to the bottom of the totem pole, you know, and so it's not much different with the games industry. You got to keep it rolling. It's got to keep coming. That's how people invest and keep it getting excited, or they drop their Game Pass subscription. Just like people drop Netflix in a hurry when their shows dry up or their content is bad or they're not giving you the movies and stuff that you want. It's no different here. And if you're going to start talking about price increases, which they will come eventually, but again, that's a mum point. You know, we can't talk about something that isn't, but we do know it's inevitable. And if they're going to invest in that too, or they're going to try to convince fans to drop extra dollars, we already know it's great value. No one's contesting it. But again, content has to come. And I'm pretty sure that that's front row and center right now, that they're looking at all their studios and saying, guys, you gotta pick it up now. You gotta start delivering, because the fans are starting to get a little angry. Our competition's spitting out games, no matter if you want to call them delayed games or games that are remasters. Bottom line is, when the competition is spitting it out and you got more studios than them, something looks a little bit fishy and off. So I'm confident they're going to get it right, but the time window is getting narrower, and next year needs to be a pinnacle year for Xbox.
Even Phil said it in the interview that we cannot use the COVID as an excuse right now. So right now they know really well that you have to release a lot of the games. Like I said, they have plenty of time to do what they need to do. They have plenty of time to polish it and all that. Now it's time to deliver for us those games.
Yeah. You can have, reputations are good. Like right now, Xbox has the reputation for being the best value in gaming, but PlayStation still has the reputation for the best quality in gaming as far as AAA titles are concerned. And that's the reputation that Xbox has been trying to get over, and they've been doing a really good job. Flight Simulator, highly rated. Forza Motorsport, highly rated. Even Halo scored in the 80s, still pretty good.
Yeah.
What else have they released? Pentiment is coming out. Oh, Grounded. I think Grounded scored in the 80s, didn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The story. Yep. It's Psychonauts too.
Well, last year, Xbox won Metacritic Award for highest rated publishing company.
Yeah. And
gaming, so.
That's true.
I think what's really these games that are coming out next year, not only do they need to come out on time, they need to come out and be the best or amongst the best in their genres.
Yeah.
The looter team shooter, that's what it looks like to me. That is Redfall needs to be amongst the best. Starfield needs to be the game we've been waiting for 20 years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They just need to knock it out of the park, Metacritic wise as well.
Exactly.
And Metacritic is not the end all be all, but it is important.
I got to address Google Poll in the chat, or Google Poll. He says AAA exclusives don't mean shit. Even Sony admits it, and he has a point. I get it. They're not the be all end all, but it is about having content. And most important, it's about having content that people want and people recognize. Right? It's apparent people want Starfield because it comes with a ton of hype. It's like a Sonic Frontiers game. We know it's not going to score 95 Metacritic, but Sonic Frontiers has a big enough following that it can sell subscriptions. So this is the thing, right? And you cannot sell an Xbox and you cannot sell subs if you don't have. It's about lots of content is great, but you also got to have content that people get excited for. Like when you got fans clamoring for Banjo-Kazooies, and you got fans that want such and such a game or a sequel to this,
Scale bounds.
and you get constantly, you're just getting new IPs that nobody cares about, nobody knows about. Like, look, this is Pentiment. People talking about that one. That's not going to sell Game Pass. I'm sorry, it's not. It's another little game. It's going to be much like Grounded.
But
Grounded.
it's unique,
I don't think Grounded's selling Game Pass either. People love it. It's a good little game, but you know what I'm saying here, right?
Yes.
It's unique though.
Yeah, oh, totally. Like Xbox Game Pass, and Xbox has the most breadth of variety in their titles than any company in the business right now. If you look at everything that's coming out from them, it's insane. They've got every genre, and basically they have something coming out in every one. There's no question about that. But again, like God of War sells not only because it's Kratos, but God of War now has the fortunate sequelitis, I'm going to call it, of coming out because the other one scored so high metacritically that it had people automatically excited for number 2. I was more concerned, can it live up to lofty expectations? All reviews so far are saying yes. I don't know if that's inflated or not, but I can't debate on that. I can only just go with Sony's going to sell tons of titles alone because of the pedigree that most of their titles are coming with. Like, their titles are consistently scoring high. That shouldn't mean the reason you don't buy a game or not, but trust me, it does hold weight because people know when they drop $80 on a game, they know they're getting something that is definitely like got some polish on it. You know what I mean? Not something that looks like it was slapped together in, let's use Bleeding Edge, for example, a little side project of Ninja Theory that they threw together and threw in the multiplayer, came out and died almost as fast as it came out. It literally bled all right. It bled right over the sheets. Like the thing died like crazy, you know what I mean? But thank God it was in Game Pass, because if it wasn't, that game would have been absolutely DOA completely when it dropped. But Game Pass helped carry it a little bit.
Do you think this causes also the hold up between the Activision acquisition because they're way too focused on that instead of thinking of producing games for us to play?
No, because I think there's other parts of that studio or the other parts of Xbox that are largely handling that. Like I said, Matt Booty is in charge of the first party titles and release dates and different things along that line. So, Sarah Bond has been doing her job phenomenally. She's been stacking Game Pass like crazy. She's bringing in all sorts of great titles, got a lot of the Sega stuff in there. There's no doubt that her department hasn't been working extremely hard. But now it is time for Matt Booty's side of things to get games out in front of the masses.
Because I know because he said he's not gonna. We're gonna hold on to the games because they don't want to release it way too early like it was in the past. So I think he's trying to pretty much true to his word on that part. The only thing that changes, like we all know, is due to the COVID that extended a little bit longer.
We're gonna call this guy the Facts, Jason Max, because he pretty much summed it up right there. And I have no doubts about that either. If it came down to having COD or God of War, they jumped God of War in a heartbeat.
That's a given.
It's not you, it's me. Kratos.
Sorry, I didn't mean to get us off topic. It's just an interesting little thing. Like I said, I have nothing but love and respect for Paris. I just thought that whole little thing was kind of interesting, and I chimed in on it. And I know where he's kind of coming from. I'm going to take a lot of flack for it, but I think next year is going to be a great year. I really do for Xbox. I think they will deliver some games because most of these games are saying that they're pretty much done or near completion. It's just a matter of putting some finish and polish on them, make sure they're marketed properly. And after the lull this year, they're only going to sell even better, I think, next year. So,
right, that's the dream.
Yeah, Scrub, did you want to jump in here now with anything?
Oh no, I said my little piece on that. Yeah, I'm good.
Did you have anything about the quick hits?
No. That's for later down the road. All right. Coming weeks. Yeah.
All right. So real quick before we kind of wrap up the show, any further thoughts though? No. Okay. Good. So as we head into the holiday season, I thought this might be a fun little one. Everybody's recommendation, perhaps one game or maybe 3 games, and certainly some peripherals or deals that you've seen that you think that you'd like to tell fans to jump on. I mean, Terry is obviously great at showing us some great indie games that you should be buying. So let's start with Coolcat Terri. if you have any, is there anything that you'd like to recommend? Maybe a deal you've seen recently that people should be aware of, or some great games that you played recently that that you'd like to recommend
She's the
for the
new
holiday
game
shopping season?
Oh, for the holiday shopping season. I mean, right now I'm about to get into Steel
Sonic
Rising.
pajamas?
No, I'm about to get into Steel Rising, but that's been out for a little bit, but I haven't had time to get to it. So that's going to be the big game for my holiday season. Is finally getting to that. But I don't know, because like a lot of the big games that are being promoted this holiday season, I'm not going to waste my time with. So I don't know. Like I'm just not really into that stuff. There was supposed to be, I think my new Need for Speed is dropping real soon, so that's going to be on my list for sure. So the Need for Speed Unbound is the one I guess that I would recommend, just because that's more my thing.
Since you mentioned
Sonic,
that one, I just want to know what do you think of the new art style for that game? I thought it was quite interesting.
I like it, and and Ubisoft has already touched on doing stuff like that with Riders Republic. They're just blowing it up a lot more with Unbound. The only thing is that's nice is they have the option to turn it off. So if you just want that classic Need for Speed look, you can still have that. Or if you want to just make your game crazy and out there and all over the place, then you can do that too. So it's I think it's great to be able to show your personality in your game. So it's cool. But yeah, I'm all about that. I love my racing games, and so that would be definitely the top of my list is Need for Speed Unbound. I hope it ends up being great, because Need for Speed is one of my all-time favorite franchises, but it definitely has been on a downward decline for quite a while. So I'm hoping they can really deliver this year.
Which car are you trying to get? A BMW also on that game?
No. Whenever I play Need for Speed, I always buy every single Porsche available in the game. So.
We got
So
one more
gotta
super
get
chat.
that because
Gotta get that GT3 RS, man. Gotta get it.
Mr. Splendiferous once again has opened the wallet, dropped $2. Axel, take it away.
He's all muted.
You're
Yo,
muted.
Axel, I think you're good.
Sorry. But that's a problem Sony won't ever have. No money.
No, they probably won't. So there you go. Thanks for the support. Once again, hit that like button, guys. Yes, like, comment, share, subscribe. All good. And for those of you catching up with this on the replay, thank you so much for checking out the video. I'd appreciate any comments, both good and bad, on how we can improve the show or what have you, and all that good stuff. So, yeah. So let's, what else, Terry? Is there pretty much it?
I think that's it, yeah, because
Okay.
like I said, big games this year aren't the games I play, so they're all passes.
Nice. Okay. We'll jump over to Axel and go around the loop here.
All right. So one thing I think everybody should experience is something that I just experienced this year, and that is Half-Life Alyx on VR on the PC. I know it's not Xbox, it's Steam. Your VR headset of choice. Mine is a Quest 2, obviously, because it was the most affordable one, and I like that it doesn't have wires. But Half-Life Alyx 2 it's the VR game to beat, even 2 years later, and it was so fantastic. If you played Half-Life Alyx 1 and Half-Life Alyx 2, the ending of Half-Life 1 and Half-Life 2, the ending to Half-Life Alyx will blow your mind. Trust me. It essentially sets up either Half-Life Alyx 2 or Half-Life 3. So there's still hope, guys. There's still hope for that Half-Life 3 coming out. On the Xbox, I'm going to recommend my game of the year so far, and that is going to be Elden Ring. I know a lot of people played it, tried it, don't like it. But if you do like a game that's going to be very, very challenging, but at the same time very, very rewarding exploration, rewarding every aspect of it, it is definitely one of the most pinnacle gaming experiences I've ever had in my life, and that is Elden Ring. And last but not least, and I want to share my screen on this one, Newf,
Okay.
I like this one here. Oh, where did it go? No. There it is. Okay. I want to share this one. The winter's coming around, guys. You guys got to get yourself an Xbox beanie. They're on sale right now at the Microsoft Store. Check it out. It matches their ugly sweater if you want to buy the ugly sweater as well.
I love that.
So
beanie.
yeah, get yourself that Xbox beanie.
There you go. The Xbox beanie. Yes, you can't forget. Sometimes it's good to have the swag to go
That's
with
right.
all those games. I like that. I got to say that's one area that Xbox has done remarkably much better within the last year is coming out with actual swag because I see everybody wearing it. Terry's got it. You got it. A lot of us have it. I've been able to find it now, whereas previous years I'd go into stores and GameStop and they wouldn't have anything. Be like, I like repping the brand. I mean, it looks cool, and again, I
Yeah.
love it when people say, "Oh, you like Xbox?" I think it's cool. I love it. They have some really cool merch.
Absolutely.
Even saw a big old body pillow yesterday that I should have bought. It was in Walmart, and it was a Master Chief body pillow, like
Oh
big
wow.
long thing. Yeah,
So you can fall asleep, feel
I
safe.
can fall asleep next to Master Chief.
That's right.
My
Feel
my
safe.
cats will certainly sleep on it. That's for sure.
Mhm.
Okay, yeah, I guess let's get Scrub in here because he's got to take off like ASAP. Yeah, I forget that you're actually here quite a while today.
Yeah. Usually at 10 is the latest I can go. That's usually when I pop out.
Right on.
But yeah, since we're here, I'm gonna talk some little accessories and peripherals kind of stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
if you're looking at game and you say, "Man, I want to up my video game experience some," here's some things that I think that you might be interested in. Maybe you want to spend the money, maybe you don't. But if you do, I think it'll be well worth it. One is my first thing is headset, and it's going to be
Mm-hmm.
a Sennheiser Mass Drop
Damn.
collaboration. It's a collaboration with Drop, so they're not the $500 headsets. So
Yep.
it's called the PC 38X, and it's this one right here. You might have seen me wear them sometimes during the podcast. They're open back. So with this open back, if you're playing the video games and the kids and the wife run behind you and they're calling your name, you can actually hear what's going on, but you have a great sound in the background. This mic is very exceptional. Well, if you ever hear me on Twitch or anything else, last night when we were playing Call of Duty, this was the microphone that was used while I was playing. It's very clear,
Nice.
picks up very well. You can find it on the website. They're usually like 170 some dollars. They're like 130. So if you want to splurge on yourself, I think that's totally worth it. It has a braided thing, so it won't wear out very easily. It's very good materials. You can wear the cups on your ears for hours, no problem. Next, I'm gonna talk about Sony. You know what? Sony? What is this? We're talking about Good Morning Xbox. I'm talking about Sony, not PlayStation. So, Nick's some of their stuff is Bluetooth, but this one is not
Mm-hmm.
Bluetooth. That headset you just plug in. The next will be Sony. What is that? The WH-1000 XM4s. If you ever see me on the podcast, a lot of times you don't see me with headphones on because I have these earbuds in. These earbuds are fantastic.
I
They
thought
have
that it
a
was a small speaker. I'm like,
yeah,
what?
yeah. They have a great sound. They come in a small little carrying case.
Mm-hmm.
Bluetooth. You have up to um, 20 something hours um, of
Jesus.
listening time with this. They have great bass. Also, you can sit and you can take these, and it has an app, and you can sit there and do EQ on it as well. Like I said, it has Bluetooth. You're doing a podcast, different things like this. You're on a bus, you're riding around. You can have these in your ear, and nobody will know what's going on. They also have pretty good noise cancellation. So,
Mm-hmm.
if you want to have something like this, um, it's great if you, especially if you video game on your phone or you just like to listen to a podcast like Good Morning Xbox. You got that right there. The last, if you just want to splurge, I have another Sony product, and it's this right here. And it's
What's up with
the
you and the Sony products, man? This is an
yeah
Xbox show.
yeah, and it's the Sony XM fives.
Mm.
What's next? Sony Bravia?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's it's the
He,
Sony
he
XM
brings out his
five.
Veo computer.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
So
looks not for nothing, but it looks comfortable though.
oh no, they're very comfortable. You have over or up to 30 hours of listening time. You can get 3 hours of listening time off of I think 5 minute charge. These things have fast charger, USB-C. It has Bluetooth connection. You can connect to two different devices via Bluetooth. So your computer, your phone at the same time, your video game system, and your phone at the same time. And you can switch back before. Some of the best noise cancellation out of any headsets, Bluetooth headsets on the market right now. They are very good. I use this when I'm not playing with other people, and it just gets me immersed into the game. Also, they do have peripheral that I'm be getting where you can just do a little mic that can come from here, and I think I would love to play these more than anything else. Like I said, I play with them. If you like to go on your airplane and all that noise in the background is just ridiculous. This noise cancellation is top notch. One of my favorite things. I'm an audiophile. I play music. I'm a drummer, so I'm all big about sound and what sounds good to me, what blends well with music. And yeah, they're going to be hit you about $400, but I think it's totally worth it if that's what you're into, and it immerses you well in sound. It also picks up with Dolby Atmos as well. So if you have the Series S, Series X, and you know about Dolby Atmos with that, this pairs and works perfectly with that. Just plug it straight into your your controllers. And last thing, if you're like me and you like the yes, Splendiferous, I have 4 drum sets. Yeah, if you're into the quick twitch and you love video games like me, this I think is a must. And if you're going to go on and get one of these, this is going to be your Elite and Series 2. Now, I know they have a newer, freshened version on Xbox. I would definitely go for that. The way these buttons feel, the way you can go on to the app and you can switch up the zone. You can take dead zones out. You can change the triggers from short to long press. If you see, like when we were playing Xbox yesterday, I was using my Elite version 2. Got the paddles in the background right here
Now I
on the
understand.
backside. Oh yeah,
The
yeah.
roof. I see. I
I got
got
the
it. I
V2. Yeah, I don't have them long presses. That's why you're like, how does he beat me to this shot? It's right there. You got your removable tips,
Yeah.
and it comes with multiple accessories that you can change on it, and also have it in the Halo Master Chief one
Nice.
as well.
Oh, jelly now,
Um,
jelly.
and the reason why I say check out the newer one because they have had problems with like the bumpers wearing out and different things like that. The newer ones are supposed to last longer and they work well. So I think that would be something to jump on to if you just said, I just got a little bit of money and want to splurge on, get that controller. These are all peripherals.
Nice.
If I said, oh, what's a game? If you have not tried Cyberpunk after have put their new update in the beginning of the year. This is a game. Also with Netflix and they had the Edge Runners, they update and put some of that Edge Runner stuff into the game. I think this is what this is the time to jump in. If you never had it, if you always was sitting on the fence saying, I don't know, this is a great game. This is my favorite game of the year so far is the refreshed,
Nice.
updated, everything Cyberpunk. So that's all
Nice.
I have. I
That's a great
appreciate we,
list.
yeah. Um, I appreciate everybody coming out. Newf, back on the scene. Everybody coming to the show since we switched it because I know we had problems when we switched from Newf to Axel's channel. Please like and share this stuff out so everybody will know that it's back on Newf's channel as well. Always good to see everybody in the chat. If you need to find me, I'm on Twitch, scrub_nurse. But if you need to find anywhere you can find me, just look at me up on Twitter at scrub_nurse3. And yeah, come find me. I'm playing Call of Duty. We had a great night last night. We had
Yeah.
fun. So yeah, if anybody wants to hit me up and do that and play, I'm looking for some co-op too. I hadn't tried
Yeah.
that out, so that'll be good.
Yeah, please
I
do,
was
and please take note of some of those fantastic recommendations from Scrub Nurse this holiday season. Get yours, get the tools for the job. Make yourself better, at least hear better, play faster, all that stuff. It's all good. You know, Yes, again. Well, take care, Scrub. Obviously, we'll catch you next week.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Y'all
So
have
Cheers,
a
have a
good
bro.
great day
one.
at work. Wish you and the family all the best. Like I said, we'll see you next
Thank
week,
you.
and it is really good to be back.
That's
And I
right.
can promise you this: I'm
Right on.
not going anywhere. If I leave again next time, it is permanent, and that means everything gets pulled down and gone. So I'll keep that in mind. But I don't plan to go anywhere. I'm enjoying being back. I love being back in the hosting chair, so to speak. It is. I feel like I'm back on the radio when I do this, and that makes me feel warm and fuzzy. I have that all the time. People come into my work and they say, "Do you miss radio at all? And how come you haven't tried to really get back into the gig?" And I said, "Well, here's a couple of things, right? I make pretty good money where I'm actually at right now, and I'm not convinced I'll make any more money or have a better schedule than I have with my current job. So it's from a financial and time thing that I like where I'm at. I basically work
Mhm.
a Monday to Friday kind of job. I get up at good hours. I get a decent pay. My boss respects me and treats me well. And when you're treated well, it's hard to kind of leave, right?
Hmm.
Right.
And radio is a dog eat dog world, and there's no guarantees in radio. You're hot one minute, you're not the next. Like me, I was on air one day, and the next day I wasn't part of the plan anymore. So there you go. And I just say to people, you know what? You know what gets me through? As I said, I do podcasting, and then podcasting, I love it because I still feel like I'm on the air, but I have no time limit or constraint. I'm not confined to 30-second blobs. Maybe I should be, but I'm not. And I get to hang out with amazing people, and we get to talk about a hobby that I'm very passionate about, which is video games. So, no CRTC, nobody breathing down my neck, no commercial crap, everything else. It's just, as like I said, it fills the void. And that's why I'm here doing this. And, you see this amazing chat's come out today. It's 31 people here. Most of them have been here since the moment we dropped the show this morning. A lot of people have come back, and have supported. And anybody who's doing podcasts or streams can tell you how much that means to us, more than we can ever say or show. You're just amazing. Look at Dreadpool. Look at that. He's the guy's been lurking the whole time. Amazing people. As I said, I've made friendships through this, and this is why I'm here. And I'm glad to be back. I needed a couple months just to refresh my mind and get refocused. But yeah, I'm glad to be here, and I'm glad that my Good Morning Xbox panel saw fit to see the show through. Didn't back out, quit. Nobody really left other than Paul. Again, due to some time constraints. Paul is certainly welcome to come back if he ever sees fit, but if he doesn't, we understand. I like the panel as we are. No plans to upgrade. Because we leave some room for guests and stuff as well. But anyway, let's get over to Shaddai. You got any particular recommendations for the holiday shopping people?
Okay, some of them are gonna be like that's common sense, but you know you have to look around on what is happening. But let's start off with this: when you go to the store and you're lurking around, whatever you want to get, and you see that Xbox Series X, please get it ASAP. I know, the cheaper version and all that, but if you want to have the full experience and you see that Xbox Series X, please get it before they raise the price.
Mhm.
Just get it. So
Mhm.
I know
Fear
you.
mongering there, Shaddai.
I'm sorry.
A little fear shopping motivation.
Yeah. Yeah, please get it because, as we all know, Spencer said, sooner or later we're gonna raise the price. So you might as well just get it, get the full experience, and you will love it. So let's start off with the Xbox Series X. The second one, Scrub said it, but this one is more for for your your personal. I know it's like personal needs, but you know it will be the Xbox Elite controller, but through the Xbox Design Lab. Now that you could customize it on your own.
Bastard took my idea.
Because once they announced that you can customize your Xbox Elite controller through the Xbox Design Lab, that was huge. That was really, really huge. And I know through the interview, I guess somebody, and it was from Japan. It was like, can I have like it was like a deep green, but they didn't have that grass green. So they were requesting for more green and some other. But I would love for Xbox Design Lab to let us design the Elite controller for the game, like any Xbox exclusive, to be included for that. So if I want a Sea of Thief Elite controller, I'm gonna get that one. I want to get the gears. I want to get the gears. I want to get the halos. I want to get the ground. The grounded. You know what I mean? So for me is the Xbox Elite controller from Xbox Design Lab. And last but not least, I know we're talking about Elden Ring and some other thing and Call of Duty, but the game that I recommend for people to get for this holiday is this one right here. If you can see it,
Oh, look at that.
PlayStation.
Let's bring you up. Let's bring you to the solo layout here. Here we go.
right?
Oh, and you got a physical copy. Look at that.
Yes.
Good
It
man,
can't-
Shaddai.
Yeah, because this game came from my collector's edition. So I wish I could have the little figurine because it's made out of resin. But I have it I have it stored away. But this game is a must-have behind Elden Ring.
Mhm.
So I know you want to get Elden Ring, but also get this one because this game, the story is phenomenal. The visuals is gorgeous. Asobo is doing their thing other than when they created Microsoft Flight Simulator. Now this one is actually raises the bar also. So I recommend a Plague Tale Requiem.
Very nice. Well done.
Sorry if I took the other one for you.
That's okay. uh, I'll keep mine short. I was going to say what should I say. Basically, get that unique game experience, and is get something like go to the game lab, Xbox Game Lab, Design Lab, sorry, and get your own personalized controller. Because nothing honestly is cooler than when that shows up and you open the box and you get to see a controller that is uniquely yours with your color schemes, perhaps your gamer tag on it. Like I still have mine with my Edmonton Oilers kind of colors of the orange and blue with my gamer tag, and and it's such a nice little showpiece as well. Like when people come to my house and they see all my controllers, sure, they're like, oh, look at this controller, you got a lot of controllers, and I actually don't. I don't have many compared to most people, but when they see that one, they kind of go, whoa, like that's different. I haven't seen that. And then they see your gamer tag, oh man, that's so cool. You know what I mean? Like it's just one of those little wow moments. Nothing is better than a little bit of a personalization. It's why we do avatars and design characters and all that stuff. So I think that's really cool. If you can buy it for a gift or just get it for yourself, that's fantastic. And if you can do that with the elites too now, right? Or no? Not yet?
The personalized?
Yes.
Can you personalize the
You can
elite
delete two
controllers
core.
now?
Elite 2 Core.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Yeah, so that's even better. Because like Scrub was saying, and Shaddai, and anybody that's had an Elite, I mean, minus any troubles. I've never had issues with my Elite one. Knock on wood, anyway. My bumpers work great. My trigger's great. The controller feels great. But it's that programmable stuff and being able to, cut off that dead space between the triggers when you're playing games like shooters, and it feels good for driving games, stuff like that. A controller and a good headset is paramount to, especially if you're a multiplayer gamer that likes playing a lot of shooting games and stuff like that. Like a good headset with good audio mixing and stuff is paramount. I can't recommend the Nacon rigs. Used to be Plantronics, but now the rigs. That will be some of my weapons of choice. I think they're phenomenal headsets, but I do have the Xbox wireless one, which is a fantastic deal for the money. I can't say enough. Plus, you have individual settings within the Xbox console where you can tune the headset to how you like it, more bassy, a little more treble, wherever. I think that's really cool, and it's easy to use. It looks great. It feels really comfortable over the long haul. And that's paramount too, right? Is a comfortable headset. A lot of the cheaper ones kind of get the job done, but they start to they feel, very flimsy and uncomfortable at times. So a good headset is paramount. There's actually one I was actually eyeballing in Walmart yesterday, and I think I might go back for it today. It was actually a kit for $130 Canadian, and it's the Recon 70 wired Turtle Beach headset, and it comes with a Turtle Beach made basically like an Elite controller. So it has the programmable features and almost the same features that the Elite has. For the $120, I think it's a steal of a deal. And I'm worth giving it a shot anyway. You know, and it's a wired controller, obviously. And sometimes when you're playing games, a wired controller is best because it eliminates the wireless signal delays, and you sometimes get better performance issues with a wired controller. I'm always, with cheap controllers, my biggest thing is always usually in the triggers. The triggers sometimes they just never feel springy enough. They're kind of like really wonky. And all that sort of stuff. And as far as game wise, guys, like there's some great gems out there. Again, for you Game Pass owners and users, a little game named Tunic. Can't recommend that one enough. Great little game, reminiscent of those older Zelda titles. Beautiful little art style, a lot of fun. Cool little game right there. There's so many, and like as Terry posted earlier, go check out a lot. Even go back through some of these episodes and see some of the great games that she's highlighted. Some of them are on sale. I know one that I'm looking forward to getting into that I downloaded is Lost in Random. You picked that one out a long time ago, but looking forward to that and many, many more. So there's a lot of tons. I'm going to tell you guys one thing before we go. One thing I'm going to recommend you stay away from, unless you really need one as a collectible, the Xbox mini fridge. Biggest disappointment ever. I have one. I am not impressed. It's a fridge. It's supposed to keep things cold. It basically barely does the trick. It keeps your cold drinks mildly cool. And this thing has more condensation than... like, what the hell? Why is shit wet? You kind of constantly wipe it down, or you're going to get algae growing in there. Why is it thing dripping from the top? It's stupid. There's barely enough space to hold anything. It looks really cool. It gets full points for looking and acting really cool, but honestly, the thing's a piece of crap. Okay? Bottom, I would not recommend it. Maybe if you get it for like $40 US, maybe, but like up here, I think I paid over $130 for a fridge that basically doesn't even really act like a fridge. I might as well use it as a game holder at this point. Just take
it was
the
a
little trays
novelty item.
Totally. Like, it's just like, come on, man. Like, yeah, like it would probably take like a day for my drinks to get cold in this thing. So they got to be cold before you put them in there, and then it'll at least keep them chilled. But it's just, what a disappointment. What a disappointment. It looks cool. It's got some cool lights on it and shit, but yeah, no, definitely something to be mindful of should you decide to go get one.
They also got the new Xbox Series X battery charger, so that way it looks like the Series X, and you put your batteries in it, and it glows green and everything when it charges your controller battery.
Please don't tell me it doesn't charge them though.
I don't know, but I just know that's the next novelty now. Is they did the fridge, now they're doing the battery charger.
It takes 20 hours to charge with this thing.
I know that my Halo controller, the Elite Series 2s come with their own charging cradle, and that thing, I mean, I go almost 2 weeks between charges.
Wow.
It holds a charge.
Yeah. Yeah, and get yourself some great rechargeable batteries or something too. It's a must. I pretty much stopped using standard AA's now. I just get some decent rechargeables, and they last pretty good. I have some Duracell ones there, and man, like they go a long time, and you keep a fresh set on hand, you're never really in a bind. You know what I mean?
I use my car battery, so it could be a lifetime.
My car battery.
Oh man. But that brings us to the end of the episode 71 and my first return as a host. It is good to be back again. I can't thank this amazing panel enough for welcoming back in and getting the show back on the road, so to speak. Not that it ever went off the rails or anything like that, but you know what I mean. Just back on my channel and the good group of people all together again. It's good to be back with them. But so we're going to do our outros and we'll wrap it up. It's been a good show today too. Lots of fun topics. Let's start with Mr. Axel 1324. Axel, let people know where they can find you and tell them about that fantastically little great podcast that you run on Friday nights.
Yeah, guys. So I'm Axel 1324. You can find me here on YouTube, Axel1324 Gaming. I am the host of the Iconic Video Games Podcast every Friday night at 8 p.m. Eastern, where me, Donkey Dog 420, and Princess Zelda just talk about games while doing random stuff. And when I say random, I mean random. Um, Also, you can find me on Twitter and on Xbox at Axel1324, just like you see it spelled right here. And that's about it, guys. Thank you so much for coming back. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button.
Absolutely. Let's go over to the prison county inmate himself, Eternal Shaddai. I even got the shirt, man. Good stuff, man. Let's see, that's what I love about this panel. They have a great sense of humor, and they roll with it. So, Shaddai, let people know where they can roll with you, brother.
People can find me at Twitter at Eternal Shaddai. The same thing what you see here on the screen for the Xbox console. Also, I'll be streaming on Twitter. I mean on Twitch, called Heavenly Field Entertainment. I'll be streaming the Plextel Requiem. I'm almost done with it. And then let's see, for next week, I'm gonna be streaming Pentiment. That's a game that I'm waiting for. Also, Newf, welcome back. I hope that everything that you were dealing with in the past, it calms calm you down. But welcome back.
Well, the one thing I was hoping to do, and it never happened, was I was hoping to lose like a shit ton of weight, but that never happened. I think I gained weight in the process. So,
Wait a minute. Wait, see, that I don't get that. Is you trying to say you lose weight after all the farts that you did last year?
Yeah, apparently. I guess it's just not enough calories in each explosion.
You're not farting out enough, Newf.
No, yeah. That's it.
No more oof and booms.
I gotta up my beef and chicken count, I guess.
My beef and chicken count.
You need more beans.
Chicken makes me fart like a racehorse. Let me tell you, it's just You have some good Popeyes chicken.
That's right. You know what it is? You gotta turn those farts into calories. You gotta actually turn those farts into runs.
Oh,
dehydrate at the same time.
Well, when fossil fuels fully die up, they will use my methane to propel the next generation of vehicles. All right. Let's let Coolcat Terri make her way out of the room. Thanks for being here again, and it was fun to be back. Let people know where they can catch up with you and all your dynamic streams.
All right, everybody, you can catch me over on Twitter, Coolcat_Terri. Otherwise, Twitch, Instagram, YouTube, Coolcat Terri, like you see it here. And I also have a new channel that's just car content called Coolcat's Alley on YouTube. So go ahead and check all that out.
Pretty neat and short and sweet. There you go, Coolcat Terri. And guys, you know where to find me. Obviously, when I'm not here, I'm over at Gaming After Dark, Tuesday nights, 10 Eastern, 8 Mountain Time. It is the more rated M adult version, I guess, of my podcasting repertoire, with a great group of people over there, including Cerebral Paul, Wise Old Gamer, and just recently added, we have Darth Praxis, whom I've heard nothing but great feedback on. A great group of guys, a lot of fun, some phenomenal guests. And don't forget that this Tuesday night, because it is the pre-launch of God of War, we're sort of doing a God of War Ragnarok special there. Super excited for the game. As I said, I have my pre-order. Can't wait to pick it up. Obviously, it's going to be Wednesday morning. And I'll be having Saltiest Gaming on the podcast, already hearing the booze. But yeah, he will be there with me. And we're looking forward to chatting God of War, because I know he's a big fan of the series. It's one of the few games that really got him into the fold over there on that particular platform. So I'm looking forward to getting some insight there as well. So anyway, guys, take care of yourselves. Have fun. We'll see you back here. Actually, that is a good thing you reminded me, because I will not be here, guys, next Sunday. And I'll tell you why, because I'm going to be in Niagara Falls, Canada. I'm out on a business trip, so I will not be here for next Sunday's podcast or next Tuesday's Gaming After Dark. Not this Tuesday coming, but the one after. So the week of the 13th to the 16th, I am out of province, so I will not be able to do the podcast. So just a heads up there, everybody. Actually, you're more than welcome to do it on your show, or we can just take a week off. So,
all right, we'll talk about it.
Alrighty. But anyway, guys, thank you to the chat. You guys have been amazing. As always, we will see you again in a couple of weeks. Take care, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Enjoy your weekend. I'm enjoying mine inside the jail.